Well, welcome to part two.
Part two
of the Brian Marshall podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved hearing your music stories, and I understand what you're saying about music, but here's the underlying thing that I probably understand better is business.
Sure.
And
I wish I knew more about business.
well,
me too. I got 5, but I want to know more.
Yeah.
I worked really hard at telling stories. I've trained 400 salespeople how to sell something.
Right.
I had the opportunity to win a national contract, and that was almost 20 years ago now. And they said, "Would you like to bid on it?" I said, "Who am I bidding against?" Visa and MasterCard. Visa, MasterCard, and Brian. Got to go to Washington, D.C. and put this gig on. and so I hired Keith. I can't think of his last name. It's terrible. Fox 41. Fox 41. I thought I'll put him on. He looked like James Bond at the time, you know.
Yeah.
Keith Kaiser.
Yeah.
Who's on the
I know Keith well. He's a good guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was the spokesperson for World Expositions.
I had no idea.
And so anyway, I had this whole preparation planned, and this will get us talking. And I got up in front of the board of directors, but I heard the presentations. They thought of me as such a non-entity or a lack of a threat to Visa or MasterCard. They said, "Go ahead."
Mm-hmm.
And so they let me sit in the room while they gave their presentations. And they kept telling this group, "Here's how you'll fit into our program, our program, our program."
Mm.
These were electric companies that we were pitching for the national bid, and to launch a card, a loyalty card. And I had done that. I'd helped launch the Kroger card, and a whole nother story. And anyway, they got up and said, here's what you'll have to do to fit in. And I got up and I said, I got a presentation and I got a speech, and I wadded my speech up and threw it. And I said, that's out the window. Here's the deal. You represent 37 million homes, and you do not have to fit into their program. Their program, if they play their cards right, I'm going to tell them how they can fit into our program.
Mm-hmm.
You're bigger than them. You're bigger than Walmart if you play your cards right. And they're like, wow, you win. And,
right.
and I went overnight. I got 14 power companies. I was started with one
Right.
when I went there. So, I called an audible, and I rolled the dice. It could have backfired. It could have been terrible.
Yeah, but come on. You don't win like that. You don't win by taking it easy. You have to.
You got to roll hard.
You do. You have to take chances, and you have to be willing to. You have to be willing to. I don't know. I mean, gamble it all. I don't know how you say that. But...
Well, it's a poem called "If" by Rudyard Kipling.
Yeah.
You know that poem?
Oh, sure.
Talks about gambling everything on a game of pitch and toss, lose and kneel down with worn out tools and rebuild and never mutter a word of loss.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if you'll do that, you're going to be a man, my son. Well, okay, here we
Right.
go. But let me back up, because on the first 3 or 4 clients, I had none. I did get venture capital money. That helped.
That's good.
I had enough dough that I could quit my job with the Louisville Convention Bureau as the director of marketing and walk away from that. And it cost me my marriage.
Mm.
She said, "Are you insane?" And I said, "Maybe." And she said, "Well,
Have you had a few of those?
insanities?
No.
Or wives?"
Yes, all the above.
One.
Okay.
And I thought, I'll never do that again.
Well, okay.
I hope she's not going to watch this. But I said it was like dragging a boat anchor around with me.
Yeah, I get it.
The harder I pulled, the harder it dug in.
Yeah.
And it just, I'm like, man, I'm trying to go to the moon. I don't have time to, I mean,
I'm trying to go to the moon.
I seriously, I mean,
I love this. I know I do.
and I can't do it pulling you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're gonna stop
Yeah,
right
everyone
here.
has
Now
their.
you get the visual.
Everyone.
You get the
She had
visual.
her ideas too. You
Oh
had
my
yours.
gosh.
It just didn't. They didn't.
It just
She
didn't
thought
work.
Those
she said-
paths
she
didn't
goes,
parallel.
What if this fails?
Yeah.
I said, well, I was looking for a job when I found out. Who cares? I mean,
Well, let me tell you this. So, people as humans, for the most part, need certainty. Certainty is one of the things that people.
I don't.
I know you don't.
I don't.
I know you don't. But what you need to realize is that most of the people on this planet need certainty.
yeah.
They need to be certain that they can pay their bills.
Here's
They
what
need
I
to
have to be-
certain that they can eat, and you're certain in yourself that you can provide those things.
I'll make it work.
I know you will.
Because but I said, you heard the old adage, a square peg won't fit in a round hole. I
Yeah.
said, that's absolutely not true. By the amount of power necessary to push it in there.
Yeah,
And-
sure. Yeah, I mean, I totally get it.
and it's like, most people say, well, that was, you're a little rough on that. You're a little tough on that. Sorry about that. And somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose.
Yeah, it's
And I don't
always-
want it to be me.
I agree. And
Because
I see that point. I can see that point clearly.
so-
Now,
so-
how did you get that edge?
Yeah.
seriously, are you going to interview me? Okay, here's the interview.
No,
I'll try to.
Where
I'll
did
try-
it
I'm
come
gonna tell
from?
2 quick stories. 'Cause
Go.
I think I got him going too, right?
Yeah.
And
I'm in. Let's go.
And so, at 14 years old, I started reading Money Magazine, and here's why. On the cover of Money Magazine, I it's like looking at Hot Rod and all these. I was interested in everybody's reading the comic books, and I'm like, Money Magazine. Well, so I learned some things. 14 was my year
Mhm.
to come alive. And anyway,
Mm,
Money
I love
Magazine.
that.
So there's a picture of a guy, and I read the story. I still got the magazine. I still have a paper clip where that story went on from page 1 or from the cover. And the guy was out in Tucson, Arizona. He had a killer house in the background. He's got about 15 cars out front and probably 15 motorcycles. And he's standing there in cowboy boots and a big belt on and kind of leaned against a car.
Mm.
And he said, I mean, it ain't bragging if you can do it kind of thing. So,
Yeah, I get it.
all right. So how did he do it? And it like sent shockwaves through me. So you've heard me tell the story.
Yeah. It's
He had a motorcycle, didn't know anything about it. Took it to Harley dealer. Yeah, we'd like to get to it, but we're too busy. We don't have enough mechanics. Goes to the next Harley dealer. We don't have enough mechanics, no mechanics, no mechanics. So he wasn't brilliant, and he didn't know how to work on a motorcycle. What do you think he did?
Learn to do so?
No.
No?
He opened a school up and hired the 2 best mechanics he could find to teach people how to work on motorcycles.
Wow. Yeah.
And then he came up with a certification plan that you could be Harley certified. And then he stuck them in all those dealerships. And then they said,
Wow.
well, we don't want to deal with anybody else. Hell, here's the guy, man.
Yeah,
He's
right.
teaching these guys how to do this, and it's working for us. We don't have to stop to train, just hire them.
Yeah.
And these people are paying him big money to learn how to work on a motorcycle that he don't know how to work on.
Right. That's amazing.
But it worked. And then he sold the business. And he's like, I'm done, man. And anyway,
Lived happily ever after?
yes.
You think so?
Well,
I
I
wonder.
don't know about that.
I don't know either.
Money doesn't make you happy.
No, it doesn't.
But-
Things don't make you happy. Money doesn't make you happy. None of that
But
stuff.
it beats failure.
It does. It does. You ride in a better car. It's become more comfortable to get place to place. You may eat a little better food, but the bottom line is that none of that really
You
matters.
know what I think it is?
What is?
It is comfort in that you don't have to. It's kind of like what's the hierarchy of needs
Mhm.
where you go up the food chain.
Yes.
First you say, well, I got to get off the street, I got to get a house, I got to get this, got to eat, got to get a drink of water. But so the hierarchy of needs, as it goes on up, then you say power is the last step, isn't it, on the hierarchy of needs? And then,
Don't
as
know
I
that.
recall, as I recall, I think power is the last thing. So you're like, let's try that,
Mm.
and that's as addictive as any drug.
Sure.
So I think it's instilled in people that you want to win, you want to succeed, and the more you get, the more you want. But for me at least, I put a storyboard together, and here's what I found out: at 14 years old, again back to that, everybody at that time had a mini bike. Everybody had a go-kart, mini bikes. They were very, very, very popular. I'm a little older than you, so 69 years old for me, but I still live like a kid. Anyway. The first thing, within 3 months, they had the seat torn off, the frame was bent, the motor won't start,
Right.
tires flat. Yeah, I know your parents paid $400 for it. You want to sell it? And I'm like, yeah, I'll give you $75. I'm like, okay, we'll take it. I bring it home. Within a week, straighten out the fork. My dad, everybody was getting a basketball goal, and I got a welder for my 8th birthday.
That's fantastic.
So I knew how to weld.
Yeah.
And like, I can fix that. That's no problem. I'll cut 2 of them in half and weld them together. So all of a sudden, I throw up the garage door at my parents' house, and it's like, I'm open for business.
Crazy.
My parents said, what do you want for Christmas? And I said, I need capital. I don't need socks and underwear. I need capital.
Yeah. No, I totally. Yeah.
Because
totally
I
get
can
it.
buy all these Nimrod's stuff in the next 3 months. After
Yeah.
they get it, I'm going to take it away. I bought a model airplane, one of those P-51 Mustangs, chrome model they came out, they were chrome plated, plastic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool.
And they were expensive then.
Yeah.
He sold
As a model,
as-
right? And you
well,
put
it was
together.
a flying model. You'd go around the circle,
okay.
049, a Cox. They were
Okay, I
made
know
by
exactly.
Cox.
Sure.
So anyway, the kid up the street said, I'll sell you my plane. It doesn't run. I'm like, nah, it's a simple thing. But I said, what do you want for it? A quarter. You take a quarter for it? Okay, I'm in. Sign me up.
I'm in. Right.
10 years later, he stole the wheels off my dune buggy and the police caught him. And he said the reason he did it is that he sold me that airplane for $25. I said, well, you made the price, you know?
Yeah.
I just said yes or no. Anyway,
What's his name? No, don't tell me. Go
yeah,
ahead.
Scotty's his first name.
Oh,
Scotty, you know who you are. But
Oh,
you know the funny part is, but that's all the juice I needed to know. And
what do you mean?
I need money,
Uh-huh.
and I need to hang on to it.
Yeah.
And I need to have it available
Okay.
when somebody fumbles the ball.
Right.
And when they say, I got divorced, I need some money. I need some money. I need some money. We're like, well, what do you take for all that? What do you take for all that music equipment? What do you take for all that?
Right.
Those car parts, those
Right.
whatever you got.
Sure.
So I was kind of like the neighborhood pawn shop.
I get it.
And it was working because I'm selling their stuff at a profit, and they're working. I didn't have, and then well, there's another one. I became a Volkswagen mechanic only because I could build a motor in about 8 hours and make $150. And they weren't making $150 a week.
Right. Sure.
So now I got time
Yeah.
and enough capital to, anyway.
Interesting that you went down that path. But you're telling me, let me know this. So was there anybody in your past? All right. So my dad, very influential on me.
Yeah, your dad. Hold
My
on.
dad- hold on. Go ahead.
I'm going to
Marvin Maxwell. Yeah.
Marvin Maxwell.
The godfather of music in this
Yes.
town, as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned, and everybody else seems to be.
So I got a
too.
marketing company, and I'd knock on his door. I didn't know if I met him. Who runs this place? Because it was kind of a cool, the
Yeah.
store on
Frankfurt Avenue.
Frankfurt Avenue.
It's
It's kinda-
awesome.
yeah, it's cool on the point there at the
Yeah.
end.
Oh, yeah.
where
It was the
Grinstead
old
Drive comes
headrest bar.
I
that
just
was
thought
there.
that's interesting. I'm going to go. So I knocked on the door, and I think he was intrigued that I would knock on the door and walk in the front door and just say, he's like, what do you do? I said, got an advertising agency. And he goes, interesting. Your timing's good. I came up with this new product, Jammin' John's,
Mhm.
and I really need help marketing it. I said, all right, here's what I did. I went to Fox 41, and I'm going to shut up after this and let you talk.
Go ahead,
I went to
I'm
Fox 41, and I said, I'm in the black banana business. And they said, what's a black banana? I said, well, I don't buy bananas till they turn black, but they get cheap, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with them. That's why I'm here. So,
Nice.
so I said, how many commercials do you have a month that you can't sell that just go in the toilet? Because I said, you have the most, other than black bananas, I can't think of a more, like a product that disappears. If you're
Absolutely.
in the blue jean business, you say blue jeans 30% off. Let's get rid of them because we got more coming tomorrow. But now we're in the advertising business. If we miss this, we're in the business where we can't recover from that loss.
No.
Yeah.
So they said around 1,000 commercials a month. I said, interesting. What if I bought them all? You want to buy them all? I said, yeah, $15 a piece. I'll take $15,000 a month. And I thought, that surely I can get rid of those, right?
Right.
But I'm like, if I can, I'm again, it was a lot of money, $15,000 a month.
Yeah. Took
But
a
I
gamble.
packaged them,
Yeah.
and I got Kroger's to agree that we would anyway. So I got Kroger's involved in a website where you put them on the Kroger website, my products on the Kroger website, and I put you on television on Fox 41, and we do them as 15-second commercials rather than 30. I was buying 30s. All right, so they said, how much is a 15-second commercial? And I said, 3 times more than I paid for them. Okay, so that was
Sure.
my package, but you got to buy 100 at a time. So I just packaged them together, and it was the good, the bad, and the ugly. You might be on at
Genius.
3 o'clock in the morning. I
Right.
won't know because I'm going to hand you the tape the night
Right.
before and say, run Marvin Maxwell's Jammin' John's, and you got to give me an affidavit when they ran. I can prove they ran, but some of them that they couldn't sell were at that time. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Mhm.
They were $1,000 commercials. Well, nobody wanted to pay $1,000.
Wow.
But
Can you
Marvin,
imagine that?
Marvin
That's
said?
cool.
What's that?
He said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to support you. And he was one of the first 3 guys, as I recall, that said yes to me. It was so exciting
Right.
that I would come up with an idea, a concept,
Yeah.
and I'm up to here.
Yeah.
with
My
the money.
dad's that kind of guy, though.
I know he is.
He is that kind
And
of
I
guy.
said, he goes, well, who else are you working for? I said, nobody. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, seriously, that my dad is a guy. I think that's a good point. He was one of those guys that believed in people. That's and still does this day.
Yeah, but he saw something in me.
He passed that on to you.
You know,
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's probably
But
something.
the memory I have of him as a result, I see him every once in a while. And the last time was in, I think, Home Depot, he and your mother.
Right.
And anyway, I have such a fond memory of him.
I'll tell him that.
Yeah,
That's
please.
great. Yeah, well.
And
Yeah.
I hope he remembers that.
Yeah. Well, he's been a huge influence in my life. So is my mom. My mom and all the goodness. My dad and the music part of my life, but also handed me a book. I was probably 17, maybe 16, but 17-ish. I think it's when I first got How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I was like, all right, I think I will read this because I could probably pick up some girls, right?
Oh,
Yeah, How to Win Friends and Influence
Influence.
People.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, okay. But then I got it and I read it and I was like, there's no tricks to this.
yeah.
It was really just caring about people.
Early to bed, early to rise, work like hell, and advertise.
That's it. No, it was real. Don't criticize, condemn, and complain was his first one in that book. In other words, it's not gonna do you any good, but and looks bad on you anyway. So just like all those principles of Dale Carnegie, I learned, and then I went to Tony Robbins eventually. I started really listening to a lot of guru.
And what did
people.
you get from him?
From Tony? I lots of things from Tony. His was about massive action. If any one thing, it was about you can sit around and talk about it all day long, or you can go do this, and the more action you'll take. It's like it's like this. It's like bands. I'm like, okay, so you've got a band, and you've put this band together, and you've built this perfect website, and you've it looks great, sounds great, the picture's awesome. You've built this product, this ketchup bottle.
Yes.
You've made this beautiful bottle, and the music that you play is the ketchup, right? So you've made this beautiful bottle. Now what? What are you going to do with it? Well, why don't you email every florist in town? Because florists do what?
Weddings.
Yeah. Well, how about every cake shop in town? How about you send it out to, hey, my name is Mark, and I'm with a band called the Crashers, to every tux place in town? How about every dress place in town? How about you, in other words, massive action?
Yeah.
Do something.
Every event place in town, every event planner in town, every place you could get married, any place that you would have a reception, any club, I don't care if it's a country club and you're a rock band, the guy that owns a country club knows the guy that runs it, right? So in other words,
So you didn't try to go through I don't mean to interrupt you, an agency to
never.
say,
Matter
never,
of fact,
never.
I did. Oh, listen, we did offer it to the agencies, but we were too much money. And they said, I can't book this. It's too much money. Then when we became that big band,
They wanted you.
absolutely. And they've booked us multiple times since then.
I said, nobody wants to be first, but nobody wants to be left out, do
No, they don't. And so, anyway, so I think, my education of that. So Tony Robbins, I think Dale Carnegie was,
But more so than that, your dad.
my dad was always on me. My dad was that guy would he'd just say a good deal is a good deal for you and a good deal for them. He told me that when I was a young guy. He said, you just to get one over on somebody, it's going to ruin your reputation. He also said there's only two things you can't, don't mess up. Don't mess up your credit
And your reputation.
and your name.
Yeah.
Because if Mark Maxwell is a son of a, to everybody in town, then, you know what I'm saying? Now, there's people that don't like me for sure. But I bet you $1 it's because they...
Jealous.
Yeah, I would say that. I would say that's probably the reason, because I sure haven't been an asshole to many people, right? I
Right.
try not to do that. I want to be nice. I want everybody to win.
Me too.
Yes, me too.
That's
That's
it.
why we're here right now.
That's
I mean
exactly
that.
it. I don't want anybody not to win, and I will do crazy things to help them get to that point. But they've also got to put I can't do the work for them. I can tell them exactly how to get from here to Jeffersonville right now. And I can tell you the fastest way, I can tell you the second fastest way, and I can tell you the third fastest way, right? Now, if you insist of driving a different way to get there, I just can't guarantee. I can tell you how I did it and how I would do it. And you probably should trust me because I have done it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's another thing that I will do. If you said something to me, hey, Mark, if you really want to do this, then you have to stand on your head. And I go, I'm never going to. That just doesn't make any sense to me. But if it somewhat makes some sense, then I think I should try it until I prove it doesn't work,
I
right?
tell you what I'd learned to do. I was bad at it. I wanted to go to the moon, and that's the way I thought. How can I think of a new product? And I can tell you 100 stories about that.
I'm sure you can.
Seriously,
I know.
So I'll create something, and I got to think how to do it. And I'm line in bed trying to think about the product, and this business guru that kindly helped me was with the Courier Journal. The general manager of Courier Journal became a partner, and he said the only thing you have to do is go make a hamburger and become Burger King and build it next door to McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it as good as McDonald's? Maybe not, but they've done all the homework. They know exactly why they're there. And you don't have to go to the moon. You just got to know how to make a hamburger bigger, better, faster, stronger, cheaper than McDonald's.
Right.
That's your only job.
Right.
That don't take much thought, really.
Right.
Just open up a store.
Right.
Now, I don't want to do the hamburger business,
Right.
but that concept
Ray Kroc did.
meant a lot to me. Yeah.
And McDonald's movie was, I loved that so
I know.
much.
I know,
with
me too.
I did. I just thought it was so genius story.
So I don't think it's not. Sometimes people are trying too hard, and they say, and then the contingency plans. That's the other thing I hear from people.
Yeah.
I put a company in business, and they brought their attorney in, female. Nothing against female attorneys, but female attorney, and she said, "Well, what if this happens? And what if this happens? And what if this happens? What if that happens?" I said, "Well, ma'am, we can sit here for the next hour and work on a contingency plan. If a meteorite lands in a parking lot, what will we do?
Right.
Or buy some insurance, open the door, let's go."
Right.
And
Yeah. Pretty simple. Again, massive action.
yeah,
It's,
Yeah.
It is about jumping in, and you don't want to do stuff foolishly.
no, but
By
with the
any
best.
means, the best.
Right.
You analyze it. You look at the best you can. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just thinking about those universal laws of physics. Like if you have a stone you got to move across the parking lot, and you just come up and you poke it with your finger every day, and you're like, you put a little effort into it, it's probably not going to go anywhere. But if you use your brain and go over there and talk to that guy with that 4-wheel drive, and talk to that guy on construction on the corner with that backhoe, you can move that rock, but it's
Sure.
going to take a massive action.
Yeah,
It's going
yeah.
to take a force of nature.
Yeah.
And it's harder to stop something that's got inertia than, like something that's got inertia in the universe is pretty powerful. So you're just saying, make a smart move
Yeah.
and then put yourself into it. Make an
Push
action.
and I think that was the thing with our band, is that everybody got behind the ball and pushed it. And we
They
went
had
up
to
this,
have.
We went with this big hill. It was really a kind of a pain in the ass, but all of a sudden it got to the top and then it took off like a wildfire, right? And we're flying.
I
And it's
love
like,
that.
everybody just hang on and we'll see what happens with this thing. But then we got on level of ground again, and things were fine. The thing was sort of going along. It just wasn't, there was no growth to it. So we had to get behind again, push it back up a bigger hill. Because they say you climb a mountain, you get on top of it, and you realize, oh, there's a bigger mountain over there. Maybe I ought to go jump on that one if you want to. But sometimes you don't. Like sometimes, like I'm good with a lot of things. Like I don't need a lot of things. In other words, what I'm saying.
Materialist things?
I think, material things I don't need a lot. I've just given that. I once you get things, sometimes
I know.
then
Within 2 weeks, you're like, I need the next
It
thing.
becomes the new normal.
that's how you are.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, not me. I am not. I'm the guy that goes, I kind of go, is this all there is to this?
No, I'm saying within
That's-
2 weeks, I wanted something else.
Yeah.
Because I got
Yeah,
that.
I don't even do that.
next.
I'm the guy that goes, I realize that most things that I've ever acquired, I don't really need. And I don't really use. And so the fact is, one car's fine with me. A few guitars are fine with me. Not, I have friends that have
Couple
so
hundred-
many.
I got one got 250 guitars.
Yeah, exactly. I have friends that have guitars like crazy, like it's an insatiable thing for them.
Right.
And I guess that's okay. I mean, if you got the money to do so, it's and time and but I don't know. There's lots of things like I don't think about that. I live rather small compared to what I think, Yeah, I think I do. I like to travel a bit. So I'm leaving for New Orleans tomorrow for a few days. I was in Florida last month. I was in
I know, you just got back from Chicago.
L.A. and I just love that stuff.
Life
No,
can be
it was for the.
Oh, I was in
music
L.A.
show.
That's right. Yeah, it was for the music show. But
simple. Life can be so satisfying because
yeah, it's mine.
you
Life
can
is nice.
stop to appreciate the things you got.
Yeah, and it's not so simple, but it's. But I do have a real grasp on that. I don't have to buy much.